While holding an angle in Valorant, you want to minimize the number of places you can be peeked from.
Yellow.
This seems obvious, and quite frankly it is. However, people still don't do this, and there's one major reason why. It has to do with being predictable. It's scary holding the quote-unquote best angle, because by being the best angle, it also becomes the most predictable, right? Well, not always. You can simply become less predictable through practice, but you can often win from these angles despite them being predictable at times. This is because you're maximizing your advantage. As opposed to being worried about several angles you can be peeked from, you only have to worry about one. This in itself makes aiming easier and crosshair placement simpler. Sometimes when watching pros, you'll see them hold an angle for just a couple of seconds before falling off. This is based off of information. They know there's only one place they can be peeked from. However, they fall off the angle shortly after because the longer the time goes on, the more likely it becomes that they could be peeked from elsewhere. Despite the fact that you should be holding from the best angle, the aggressor who is looking for a fight against you still has to clear every angle. Because of this, it actually doesn't matter that the best angle would be more predictable. If the peeker still needs to clear every angle, they by definition have multiple angles to worry about. Not to mention the peeker still has to be worried about getting peeked as well. That being said, lining up angles for holding is not only less predictable than you might think, it's actually much stronger than you would think as well. With so much preaching about peeker's advantage, it can be scary to hold angles, yet holding from these angles is quite strong. Oftentimes you can win your duel, and if you don't, at the very least you are getting very useful information for your team. The only other thing I want to add is you have to be careful to not overuse this because like I said, it can be predictable and you need to switch it up from time to time. Peeking is really strong, you just have to make sure you're peeking the correct angles. Same thing with holding angles. Holding angles can be very strong, you just need to make sure you're holding the correct angles. This is this type of thing that's going to change from game to game depending on how your enemy is playing and what they're currently doing, so you need to be able to adjust and adapt based on the situation. My hope here is to give you guys the tools you need to know what's best in what situations and to really figure it out for yourself, but also to have a solid ground and understanding to be able to improvise and do your best with what's given. I hope this helps some of you guys out.